Okay, now I'm currently working on our backyard. There was a lot of problems with our backyard before that's been kind of driving me nuts. And so one of them was our backyard kind of goes up against some city property right here. And because of that, a lot of those weeds that you see out there have made their ways into our yard. And so removing that was a big task, killing all of the weeds that were there before, and trying to level this out since we're kind of on a slope. Want to make sure it's a flat ground so our kids can play, but not too flat because I want to make sure that if there's any water, I don't want it to run up against the house. I want it to still drain that way. So what I'm working on right now, I guess one other problem that we have is up against these rocks right here, this retaining wall of rocks, we have a bunch of rodents, like voles, and they keep coming into our yard, popping up holes. And so one of the things I've done is laid down a wire mesh underneath the grass, put some soil on top of the mesh, and then lay the sod on top of that so the voles can't pop up through that way. Now, I've only done about 5 feet from the retaining wall over there. I'm not going to be doing it the whole way through, but that was one of the things that I've done, and it seems to have worked pretty well. The grass is healthy, and there haven't been any signs of voles getting in there. So what I'm doing right now, I've killed all the weeds and grass because it was all over the place, really splotchy, really bad. And then what I did is I tilled up the earth, and then currently I got some soil. It was only a couple $100 for like 12 ton of soil. Is what you can get for that. And so I'm going to smooth out the yard, make it slightly sloped but level enough to play on, and lay some sod on top of that. All the grass has now been laid. It looks pretty healthy. We put it in, it's been about 3 weeks now, so it's rooting pretty well. All the curbing and the mulch, everything looks really good now, and I'll send a couple more pictures, or show us a couple more pictures right now. The whole project to transform our yard cost about $600. I was able to save a ton of money on the sod by going online and picking up some sod that people had extras of. The mulch and the curbing and the weed barrier only cost a couple $100. The soil, the extra soil, like I mentioned before, was only a couple $100. And so overall it was about $500 to $600 to transform our front and backyard from the weeds that you saw before to a more acceptable looking yard.